From stampwithlorraine.com, and today I'm going to show you how to do a double point flip card. It's really easy to do. You need just a little bit of cardstock, a couple little pieces of DSP, and you've got yourself ready to go. Just add a focal point, a little sentiment, and bam, easy to do. So your double point is going to look like this. Using a little bit of the DSP here is going to make your little point folds. And you just have one layer of a card base. So your fold is right here. So it's not a bulky card. You can tuck that little tip down there to hold it closed. And I'm going to show you many versions. You know, I don't just show you one. I always show you many ways to do a particular layout or a technique. So join in, and I hope you like the tutorial. Today's card is called the double point fold. And you may have seen some of these around. It's not new, but it's something we've never done, so I figured, why not? Good chance. So it's the full card doesn't fold. We're starting with your 5.5 by 4 1/4, and that's just going to be the back of your card. That's your card base. Then you needed 2 pieces of DSP that are 4 by 3 inches, and this one can go either way. You will be holding it horizontally, but this doesn't have a distinct up and down. If yours does have an actual up and down, you will have to take that into consideration, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Then you also need a layer that is 1/4 inch smaller than your base, so then you're looking at 5 1/4 by 4. And then you'll need something along this line, which is, I used the stitched nested labels. This is the second largest one. You could use a smaller one too. That works. It's not that much smaller, but that will work. And you could certainly use a big one or something along that size. It could be a rectangle. It could be one of the scalloped rectangles or stitched rectangles. It could be an oval, just something along that line. And you'll see how that fits together shortly. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to take your DSP and we're going to score it. We're going to score 1 inch down along the 4 inch side. We're going to put it in this way and make a score. Now, if you have a distinct up and down, it doesn't matter for the first one. You just want to make sure you do it the opposite direction on the next one. And I have another card that I'll show you where that is a issue. So you're going to make a little score line 1 inch. All right, so we'll burnish that. And then on the other one, if this were your top, then you want to put the score line down below. Okay, so just make sure you do it on the opposite side if there's a definite up and down. So we'll do that over here on the 1 inch. Okay, so you have 2 pieces. So one is going to go at the top of your card and one's going to go at the bottom. So just double check that your design is facing the right way. All right, and be careful with your scoring on your DSP. I went a little too heavy and I have a little split here, so I'm going to just recut that. I forgot to mention I'm using Sweet Symmetry Designer Series paper. Really cute little floral prints. There's a stamp set that coordinates with it. I did not get that. I kind of had, I think, similar cute flowers, but okay, those are the papers there. You can look at that while I'm cutting. And these are the colors that coordinate with it. You have Bumblebee, you have Calypso Coral, Just Jade, Night of Navy, and Flirty Flamingo. Now you're going to flip it over, and we're going to fold these 2 corners in until they meet but don't go past that score line. So what I like to do is just kind of start it. I don't make my final hard crease until I know they're kind of meeting. And that looks good. And now I'll burnish the crease. Okay, you're going to do that on both. Okay, bring them right up together. And burnish that nice. Okay, and make sure this still folds over nicely. Sometimes if you go too close, you might feel a little bulk there. So just take your bone fold and make sure you still have a good crease up on top. Looks like those little paper hats we used to make in elementary school, right? Okay, so then basically this is just going to get glued on the back of your white piece after we glue these flaps down. And this one will go on the bottom. So this is where, if you have a design that has a direction, make sure it's looking good before you start gluing things on. All right, so let's glue those down. A little glue on the flaps. This is a cute side too. I love that little flower. I did that one on one of the other cards. You'll see it later. Okay, then a little glue on this. And it will go behind your card. So I'm lining it up in front and getting that fold on there and just flipping it around. The glue gives you a little wiggle room in case you're slightly off. You can move it. And if you have just a tiny bit showing, you can cut that. Sometimes when you're cutting your paper, you could be a hair off one way or the other. All right, then we're going to glue the other down. And then the flap for the back. And just feel where that score line is and fold it across the back. Okay, so those are going to be your little flaps. Okay, I see a little hanging off here. I'll trim just a hair. Okay, now that whole thing will get glued down to the card base. Okay, then on my label, I already stamped from Dragonfly Garden. I stamped this little spray of flowers. I wanted a very clean look, so I just kept it black. You could color it in with your watercolor pencils or Stampin' Blend, and that is going to actually go right on top there like that. All right, so now obviously you want to be careful not to put glue in places that's going to go on the inside of your card. So here's my little trick. I know these points are going to be adhered to the DSP, and I know that these points are going to be in here someplace, so that's where I'm going to put my glue. I don't want to necessarily, try to figure out where it's going to go. Now, if you're not comfortable doing that, you can maybe align it and then go like this, maybe draw a pencil line and make sure your glue is within that. I find this works just fine. Now, let me show you before we put everything together. If we glue that just on the top, not on the bottom, of course, because then it won't open. So, well, then that's how that's going to open. And it will stay closed in your envelope, but it's not necessarily going to stay closed unless we put something down here to hold it. So I'm going to use the double oval punch, and we're going to punch out the sentiment. Which one was I using? Okay, over here. For a true friend. This is where I punch out my dragonfly, which I embossed and punch that out. So give it a little bit of a shine. So that will go on here. Okay, it's okay if it hangs off a little bit. I want just a little something shiny on there. So we're going to stamp For a True Friend. I have room? Yeah, I think I will. Doesn't have to be straight, because when you punch it out with your oval, you can line it up and it will be straight. Okay. And then I'm just kind of lining this all up, kind of figuring how I want it. I was thinking, all right, now which color background of the scallop should I use? So I was playing around with that. So let's start putting this a little bit together, and then we can figure out which color I should use there. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the top here of this point, and some glue on the bottom of this point. And then I know it will not seep out, come out onto other parts of my card. Okay, I think I go a little further on that. Okay, now because I'm putting this down here as a little catch, I have to move this up just a little bit, because if I center it, it won't have room to catch onto here. So I'm going to put this up. It will not be centered top to bottom. And I can line this up with these corners here. All right, so you can see it's a lovely card. You can open it. You have a little space to write in here. Hope you don't have too much to say, because there's not a lot of room to write, but it's a very cute card. But if we put this down with dimensional dots, oh, that got a little crooked. There we go. Put that down with dimensional dots. It gives a little something for it to catch into and hold it closed. Okay. So this still looks just a little crooked to me. All right. Okay, so we're going to put the dragonfly on with dimensionals. Okay, there we go. Hides a little smudge I had there too, right? Okay, so then I have to decide which color I wanted to use there. So do you want it to sort of blend in and not stand out so much? I could use black to tie in with the card base and the stamp. Or if you want a little bit more shine or bling, you can go with the gold. So I think I'm going to go with the black. You let me know which one you like. If you have a different choice or you agree with me. Any of them could work. Okay, so because we want that little tip to catch in there, we're going to put dimensionals just on the sides here. And yeah, I could use the big ones as long as I stay way to the side. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use the black dimensionals. Here's a perfect opportunity for them. Remember, we have the black dimensionals. They come in a pack, some with the small and some with the big ones. So here's a great opportunity to use those. I'm going to snip a little bit of the side here. Okay, peel those off, put them down. Make sure you're not going to be catching the tip. And then you have a nice way for that to hold together. It's like a little buckle and holds it down. And pretty, right? Yeah, I'll show you some other versions. And the next one, I did that center nesting, stitch nesting labels. I did that as a double layer. So here we are. I did this DSP from that same pack, the Sweet Symmetry. I did this in the color, and then I'm layering it with a white, and we're going to use from Birds and Branches and the Birds and More dies. I'm using this little bird here that cuts and embosses the whole bird out of your cardstock, so you don't have to do any stamping at all. And I'm using the little branch here, and we're going to make just a little scene on there. Okay, so just so I don't make any mistakes, I like to do that separately on the side. I'll glue that onto there. And this time we're going to stamp right on the label itself. And I have Hello There from Sweet Strawberry. Okay, I love those little fonts, very casual and fun looking. Okay, do Hello There. And then we can glue the little vine down and add the bird on there. I just thought that looked nice. Ties in with the Just Jade, the coral, and the bumblebee. All right, and then we'll cut off down there whatever we don't need. So luckily this has some big enough places for me to just add glue directly. Don't have to sponge it on. Okay, here would be a good opportunity for me to use my silicone mat, but it's downstairs. I was using it for something else. Okay, just hold that down a second so the glue takes. Trim off the excess down here. And we'll add the little bird. I'm going to squeeze some dimensionals on there, and we're going to use the mini ones, because they are small enough to get behind his head right there, and down here on his chest by the legs. And I'm actually going to cut one in half, believe it or not, to kind of get near his wing. All right. There we go. Who would have thought we need one so small? But I just want that support there. I don't want it tearing later on. And we'll put that right there. So, you know what? I might try to pick up that leaf a little bit, just so he's kind of sitting in there. Shows some dimensional. There. Okay, so we have the hello there. We'll attach that to the other stitched label. And we're tying in all those colors. So the bumblebee, Just Jade, and Calypso Coral. All right, so because this is kind of on the heavy side, it does stay closed. But if you wanted to, you can put a little something down below. Either an oval, stamp it with another little design, a little flower maybe. Or if instead of up here, you wanted to have a little strip of a sentiment, you can have that down there. And then just tuck that in like that as well. So whatever you like. I just wanted to use that saying up there. I love those colors. It's so sweet, so fun. Okay, so if you don't have the stitched nested labels, you can use your rectangles. Okay, this came from the Color and Contour. Okay, and I happen to have all these sort of on hand. I had some of these ovals already done. I had these flowers from a project I did last week, and this I had actually cut out from a piece underneath the flamingo that I used last week, and I said, okay, I'm going to use that later. Well, it's time. Using it now. So we did all this already, and then I'll show you how it works with a rectangle. And I'm going to put this down here to kind of catch that down there. All right, so I'm going to actually put this down here first, and I will use the black again because the navy is dark. There and there. Okay, because this has no leeway. This can only go as low as your card base. This, you do have some leeway as to how high or low you want it. So you can make sure it's going to tuck in there and figure where you need to do your gluing. All right, so again, I'm going to put some on that tip. I know that will be covered. And I'm going to put some across the top. I can see up to that first scallop over here. I'm able to put some glue. Okay, make sure I put it down there enough to catch. All right, so now I know that can catch right in there. And I have a little of the crinkle cut ribbon. I'm going to put I just tied the bow right in the middle of the length of ribbon, and I'm going to put a little glue dot behind the knot of the ribbon. Let me see which way I want it to go. Sometimes bows just lay a certain way. Do I want it coming down or kind of going up? I think going up. So if this is the direction I want it, that's where I put a glue dot behind there and pull it off, stick it down, and then I'm going to wrap it around. And of course this part will show, so I do want this part to look neat. So I'm going to take another glue dot and here's my little poker tool. I'm going to put a glue dot on the end of this. Bring it around. Then we'll do the same over here. I'm going to cut that just a little shorter. Put a glue dot. And bring it around. Line it up. Okay, so that looks a little neater. All right, so we have a sweet little white and flamingo on the front there. And you have another version of the double point flip card. All right, and then one more to show you how you can do this horizontally instead of vertically. This time I'm going with the navy. Again, the pattern paper is Sweet Symmetry. And just again to show you, let's do this real quick. You're going to score. Again, this pattern can go either way. So I'm going to score at 1 inch. Remember, the 4-inch side is where you're scoring 1 inch in. Okay. And then 1 inch. And burnish. Fold in the tips. just as a quick review and see just how quick and easy it is. Super easy. And then same with this one. Fold them in. Like here, I want to make sure it's close. Then I'll do my final burnishing. And make sure to re-burnish that. Glue it all down. Hey, look how quick. Fold it up and around. The other side. Glue it to your card base. Look how nice and rich that is. Okay, so this time we're going to go this way. So if you have a pattern that's definitely has an up and a down to it, and you're holding your card horizontally, you want to make sure that this is the top and that's the bottom. All right, this one is pretty random, so it was a good choice for this card. I didn't have to think about it. Okay, so just to show you different options, this is the larger stitched label. You can always do that on there like that. And I did a die cut butterfly, and that would be real simple to just put that on there like that. And then, of course, it would open like this. So, or you could do a similar thing with the 2 layers, the navy, and then the next layer, and either the navy butterfly or the white. I couldn't decide. I think this one I might do the white because it shows up more against the navy over here. Okay, so there is some, they don't list it, but this reminds me of the Misty Moonlight, and I lent my navy out to somebody, so I only had the Misty Moonlight, but believe it or not, that kind of works on there too. So we're going to just stamp this. Hello, friend. Okay, so these mix and match. These are one of my favorite sentiments. You have all the words both in the bold and in the script. So I'm going to keep this to the right so that my butterfly has room to fly on the left. A little bit crooked. Oh, okay. We'll manage. And then I'm going to do hello just slightly off, but above the friend. Okay, maybe I'll do that later straight, but I'll put it all together so you can see what it looks like. All right, so again, put glue on the tips and up here. Lay that down. This time I might find something, I didn't do it yet, but I might find something else to put over here that is not as big as the oval. Maybe some kind of embellishment or something. I'm going to find something else creative to put there. Maybe just a little circle or something. It'll look like a button or something like that. Okay, so then I think I will re-stamp this, but you get the idea, right? You could put the butterfly on there. And that has a nice rich look to it as well. All right, so have fun making the double point fold. Okay, this is from the Butterfly Brilliance, the dies there. All right, they were in the regular catalog. So when I finished my card, this is what I decided on. In the navy, and using the Sweet Symmetry DSP, I used the two stitched nesting dies. This was the second to largest, and this was the third largest. So the largest in the navy, and then the third largest in the white. Stamped it with Biggest Wish, Hello Friend, and added a butterfly from the Brilliant Wings dies. Left the wings popped up there. Just put glue in the middle so it has a little bit more dimension. And I was looking for something to put down here to hold it. So you keep looking and looking, you eventually find something. I finally noticed the tiniest of the stitched nesting dies worked perfectly. So one thing to remember, these dies look wider and bigger on the outside, but what actually cuts out is more narrow right in here. So it's actually this part here. And the reason for that is for the part that's on the outside, if I were to line this up nicely, I could use this for something else. And you have the stitching and that little embossed look on the outside here. So that's what is showing here. So that kind of fooled me because I was saying, no, that would be too big. But then I said, well, let me give it a try. And then I remembered it only really cuts to here. This other part is for use in a reverse way. Okay, so then I wanted a little brad or a little dot or something there. And again, I was looking and looking, then I said, oh, I just got the brushed metallic adhesive back dots, and these are the perfect size. Didn't want anything too small, wanted that medium size there. These are in the new mini catalog, and this is coming up for fall 2021, and it comes in brass, copper, and this bronze. So because this had an antique-y look to me, I went with the bronze, and it looks like just a little handle or something there to hold your card shut. All right, so hope you enjoyed those examples today, and here they all are for you to see. And I hope you try some of your own, and if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to hop on over to stampinwithlorraine.com, visit my blog, and sign up for my newsletter if you're not already a member. So thanks for watching.